To score points, and Fred Warner stepped up, Hufanga stepped up, and then guess who closed it out? Nick Bosa, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take different ways to win games. Last week it was the offense. This week it was the defense, and I'm super proud of this team.
I mean, it was an absolute team effort, and it wasn't one of those defensive performances where the Niners just absolutely just harassed the quarterback. Andy Dalton didn't get hit a lot today until the end. But, man, the Niners defense, they played ferociously. They played with a ton of speed today. It was a hard-hitting affair, and this Niner defense led the way with that.
Offensively, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't good. The Saints defense was stout from beginning to end. Jimmy Garoppolo had to navigate a very complicated game plan by the Saints defense. What did you see from Jimmy today, D?
He didn't turn the ball over. He was helped out by the one that was called back with the penalty.
He was.
When he wanted to force it in there, he grounded the ball. And the best thing you can say sometimes about somebody is nothing. They didn't get it going on the ground. They weren't able to move it around, but Jawan Jennings stepped up in key moments in a 2-minute situation. They weren't able to find they were able to find Deebo Samuel to attack the edge of the defense and get some runs, but they weren't able to get George Kittle, so they struggled today. And then when you're not able to run the ball on first and second down, it puts you in third in obvious long situations, and that defense over there were geared up to stop the 49ers today.
Yeah, I mean, we have to give the Saints defense some credit. We know the Niners like to live in the middle of the field with their run plays and also their screen passes. New Orleans absolutely took that way from beginning until the end. But the Niners, and this is what we talked about in the pregame, and you're right, it wasn't pretty, but they're able to do other things than just run the ball in a certain fashion, and that came through today. And I guarantee you, a lot of people buying Jawan Jennings jerseys after this performance today.
And a guy that can do a lot of things in a lot of ways is our very own 49ers insider, Matt Mayoko. We go with you, Matt, inside Levi Stadium. Matt, you've covered this 49ers team more than anyone on the current beat. How impressive is this 49ers defense?
It's really impressive, and just the way they kept the Saints out of the end zone. And, I thought that there would be a letdown coming off of this as far as just returning to play after the emotional game Monday night, a short week. Typically, the emotion where you see it, the letdown is on the defensive side, but on that side of the ball, they took care of business. They ran around, they made plays, they were energetic, they were enthused from the opening series of the game. They generated turnovers, takeaways, big fourth down stops. So it was about as impressive of a defensive performance as you can find from that standpoint, where they looked like their legs, it wasn't necessarily pretty on the other side of the ball, but the defense stood up, stepped up like you would expect them to, like they have all season. That, I don't think, was a big ask coming off a short week. And the 49ers defense, across the board played very well in recording the shutout. By the way, that's the first time the Saints have been shut out since the end of the 2001 season, and it was the 49ers that did it in Week 17 of that year.
Matty, we got to talk about some injuries. Elijah Mitchell, a knee, went out during the game. Spencer Burford, the right guard, an ankle. What do you know about those two guys?
Nothing yet. We'll get an update from Kyle Shanahan, but the injury to Elijah Mitchell is very concerning because of the nature of it. The knee injury, you often don't see someone ruled out early after an injury unless it is something very significant. So that's one to definitely be concerned about, with the 49ers having to turn to a lot of Jordan Mason in the second half. Christian McCaffrey, once he was brought to the team, the 49ers traded Jeff Wilson Jr. to Miami, got a 5th-round draft pick from that. But this is a situation where I think a guy like Jerry Rice could tell you that it's tough because Jerry...
Happy holidays.
Losing the potential of the offense without Elijah Mitchell.
Exactly.
That's tough.
Yeah, and he's coming back now, so that's going to be great.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, to see him and McCaffrey back there,
right? Awesome. Okay. Well, let's see if Mitchell can get back into there. Jerry Rice putting in his 2 cents there. Maybe you didn't know about the injury to Elijah Mitchell, but yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on with this 49ers offense, because it hasn't been consistent through the season. We thought maybe that showed some consistency against the Cardinals. But this one was one that I think was a step back for the offense. But this is how they're going to have to play these games, because teams are going to stack the line of scrimmage. They're going to make it difficult for the 49ers to run the ball. And that's where the offense, the passing game, has to step up.
All right, Matty, time for the overreaction of the week. I'm going to give you this statement. this is the best 49ers defense since Ronnie Lott? Yes or no?
I think I'd have to say yes. I mean, the way this defense has done, especially on the 4-game winning streak, where they have shut out the opposition in the second half of 4 games in a row. And, of course, this game, it wasn't just the second half. It was from start to finish. I don't know that that's an overreaction. I think you're right on board. This is an incredible. They're playing their best football at the right time.
All right, thanks a lot, Maddie. We got to talk about the 49ers and the defense and the Talk podcast, the best 49ers podcast out there in the market. New after every game. As soon as we're done here, Matt, Jennifer, and I are going to be taping the new edition, the new, fresh, out of the oven 49ers Talk podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Your reaction, D, to what I think is the best 49ers defense since Ronnie Lott and company roamed the NFL.
Better than your
Better
defense.
than your
I'll give him a close second. Oh, come on. How dare you, man. How dare you? We had 9 Pro Bowlers on defense. We attacked the quarterback. We were top 5, top 3 in the league in sacks, interceptions, but we made the middle of the field scary, right? And they call us, being Deshaun Ghost, you know what they call us? The Saint Killers, right? We knocked every skill position player out that they had during those years. But they're playing well. They're a close second. If they continue to play like this, if they can seal a Super Bowl win, I might give them
They're
first
playing
place.
second?
Let's let the season play out.
I think he's hurt.
I think he's hurt. I think he's also right, too. I mean, listen,
All right.
These guys did it, and they did it on the way to the Super Bowl. But this edition of the Snyder defense, hey, listen, it might not be the way the game was played back in the day when you could do it, Dante, when you could intimidate and hit guys over the middle. But the way these guys played today, particularly Warner and Hufanga, bringing the wood, playing that physical defense that you don't see much anymore.
And we knew that going into this game that stopping Taysom Hill in the quarterback run would be vital to the success of the defense.
Sure.
And you know what they showed me? They were good with their eyes and let their eyes take them to the ball with all the pullers and everything. They set the edge of the defense. They kept the outside arm free so they can disengage and get to the quarterback. But then did you see the interior linebackers running to the ball?
Yes.
There was no fear when they were taking on Taysom Hill. That was a vital part of the game, and the 49ers executed brilliantly.
And Alvin Kamara was just simply not a part of this game. They removed him from the proceedings and kept him out of business.
We got to talk about the red zone defense because the 49ers have given up some points before the month of November, and specifically in the first half. Look at the tweets by Akash Anavarathan. Saints had 5 possessions inside the 49ers 43-yard line, 0 points to show for it. What was so tough about the Niners D on the red zone today, Rod?
Well, I mean, just what we talked about. They were very, very detail-oriented, and they didn't make any mistakes in the red zone. And you guys know how it is. All it takes is one mistake in the red zone, and the floodgates start to open. Considering how this was a short week, how the practices were limited because of the travel from Mexico City, for this Niner defense to be tasked with dealing with kind of a jack of all trades in Taysom Hill, and how the Saints offense kind of goes off from him. For those guys to be smart and disciplined in how they did things on the field, I think says a lot about the mental of this football team's defense, along with the physical that we saw today too.
I know they don't have an elite quarterback in Andy Dalton. They don't have perhaps elite weapons besides Alvin Kamara and perhaps Chris Olave. But what impressed you the most on the red zone from the 49ers defense perspective?
Well, they were very persistent in what they were doing. And so many times you can get down there in the red zone and the offense can get to the 4 to 5 yard line and you just let them in.
Right.
It's like, oh, they already down here. Let's let them get in. No, it's a never. They would always preach, they're not in until they're in. Just give us a chance to fight one more play. And the 49ers did that consistently. And huge shout out to Fred Warner.
Yes, sir.
Everything happens fast in the red zone. So you have to go with where the quarterback looks, his mannerisms. You have to trust and believe in your technique and your ability. He had how many pass breakups down there? 2 or 3. And then to Sean Gibson. When you take a tight end one-on-one and he has outside leverage on you and you know that he's going to get the ball, Taysom Hill, and you go up, you don't interfere, you don't panic with the ball in the air, that's what it takes to play good red zone defense, and the 49ers were lights out.
But Fred Warner is the singular embodiment of this defense. He's the smart guy on the field, and he played with reckless abandon today, bringing that thunder. Speaking of Fred Warner, he's coming over here right now. Good Lord, I hope he doesn't feel like he needs to hit anybody.
Okay, we got him right
Fred
here.
Warner in the house. What's up, man? Appreciate you.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Fresh off.
Just talking about you, by the way.
off
Oh, man. Hey, all right, good.
Fresh off the Mexico game. Welcome home, Federico Warner.
Thank you.
First of all,
Gracias.
great game. You were 22nd. The team was 22nd defensively on the red zone before today's game. You shut it down today. What was the main difference for your perspective on that end of the game?
Man, first of all, let me just say how proud I am of the entire defense. Standing up like that, that was incredible. I don't know if I've ever been a part of a game like that. That was so special. It really just took all 11 just really being locked in the entire way through. Guys making plays in big-time moments. That's what it takes sometimes down there. You got to just pull off something, make a big play, and that's exactly what we did.
How much pride do you guys take on not allowing points? For the first time in 49ers history, that's 4 games in a row, not allowing points in the second half. That's 6 quarters in a row, Fred. You haven't allowed a single point. How much of a sense of pride do you guys take on that?
Yeah,